Hello guys, welcome to yet another video. Thank you for joining me once again, and this is your preview for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone this weekend. Well, before we get into it, make sure you check out my review for the Austrian Grand Prix. If you missed that, you know there was a lot that happened. I mean, anyone that missed anything that happened last weekend, just go watch that video. I'll link it in the description, and I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. I know the Formula One fans. I mean, even if they're not Formula One fans, tell them to come. Hey, I saw this nice guy. He's really good at this stuff. Subscribe to his channel. But yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So before we get into it, today I'm just going to go straight into the predictions for the Silverstone Grand Prix. There's not much that's happened, but this week there's one team in Formula One that has been making really big moves, and that team is Aston Martin. Now you can say Aston Martin has not been performing generally as a team. Like the performances have been up and down, compared to last year. I think this year they've not had any podiums, but last year Alonso was like, I think in the first 8 races he was on the podium like 6 times and all of that. But now it's like their progress seems to have halted a bit, and they are going through it because anytime they bring upgrades to the car, it's like the car is not improving for some reason. It's like it's not working for them. It's just like when VCAP brought their upgrades, I think in Spain. Yeah, I think they brought upgrades in Spain, but they were at the back. It wasn't working, but I think last race I think it was better for them. But yeah, also the moves they've been making is I think this it's in the news they signed. I think Mercedes former head of I think the former head of what do they call it? Engine, I don't know. I'll look for it and I'll attach it like as an image so you can go read up on it if you want to. And also, there's been a lot of rumors going around. Aston Martin want to get Adrian Newey. Ooh, I didn't. I mean, before when we learned that Adrian Newey is like gonna leave Red Bull at a particular point, like he wants to take a rest from F1 and all of that. I thought he was going to Ferrari, maybe get a chance to work with Lewis, but he also said he wanted a chance to work with Alonso. See, that's something nobody ever like considered because like Aston Martin, why Aston Martin? But apparently he has agreed a deal. They're just sorting everything out, and once it's announced, well, that will be a huge one for Aston Martin, to be honest. And I think I understand why because I think it has to do with Honda. Honda is the engine being used to supply Red Bull. Like Honda are the engine suppliers of Red Bull right now, and they're leaving Red Bull at the end of 2025, ahead of the 2026 new regulations. And who's gonna take the Honda engines? Aston Martin. Makes sense to take the greatest car designer in Formula One history, Adrian Newey. Wow, no one saw that one coming, honestly. But I think it would be very good if whatever he's doing there turns out to be very good because there will be like five like 5 cars always in the battle for the win. Imagine having a Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin fighting for the top steps of the podium every race. 10 drivers. That's what we live for as Formula One fans. Anyway, let's get into my predictions for this week. And as we start, as the tradition is, my flop for the week. My flop of the week is gonna be Alpine. Now, we both know that Alpine have been on a positive trajectory lately. They've been picking up points here and there. They're finishing P7, P8, P9, P10, sometimes double points. But last week it was just only Pierre Gasly who finished P10 at the Austrian Grand Prix. But yeah, my prediction why I'm going with them as the flop of the week this time around is not just vibes. I think it's because we all know that their engine has a deficit. The Renault engine powering the Alpine car has a deficit, and this is a circuit where you're always full, flat out, straight all the time, high speed corners and all of that. Like, nah, I don't think the Alpine is gonna. I think they should have a terrible weekend. That's my prediction. They will be the flop of this week. Well, let's wait and see. Fingers crossed. And I mean, the predictions are not meant to be correct. They're just meant to be based of what I think will happen. Also, you can put yours in the comment section. Don't forget to do that so we can discuss it Shout out to, sorry, I don't know your name, but you watch my videos. You found me through the reels, and I really appreciate you sticking around. Like, since then, you've been always watching my videos and commenting. I really appreciate that. He put his prediction for science being P3 last week, and he came. I mean, you came as a result of Lando and Max colliding, but he came. So that's what we're here for. Let's have fun. Put your predictions down there. And my surprise driver of this week is gonna be Charles Leclerc. Leclerc needs a break. Honestly, Charles Leclerc needs a break. I think he's gone through a lot over the past month or so. I think since he won in Monaco, nothing has gone well for him. I think after that was Canada. In Canada, he was lapped. He was lapped. He had a terrible race. In Spain, yeah, Spain was okay. Spain was okay because I think he finished P5, P6 there. But I think he finished ahead of Sainz. And then last week, oh lord, we all knew what happened last week. Qualifying was trash for him, and the race wasn't it. I think, but in a way, it was a positive because he started at the back. No, he started in the middle. But at the beginning of the race, he had a crash, and not a crash, like a contact with one of the, I think with that was a Sergio Perez, and he had to change his front wing and all of that. But he finished the race in 11th, so nothing to write home about really. Yeah, so that's my surprise driver of the week. Charles Leclerc to have a much better weekend than he's had throughout the past few weeks. And yeah, for pole position, now this is where it's getting spicy. As you know, what happened, based off what happened last weekend, I'm going to go ahead and say for pole position, Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is going to be on a revenge tour. I think the thing is, people want Max Verstappen to be the bad guy, and I don't blame them. Your opinion is your opinion, but I feel like Max is also someone that thrives on the hate. It's like the way Ronaldo does it. Like when you see all these clips of people like saying things or doing things to Ronaldo, and the next game he just comes in and obliterates the opponent. That's what I feel Max Verstappen is gonna do this weekend. Like he's gonna be on pole and he's gonna win that race. Oh, I already gave away my P1. Anyway, yeah. So Max Verstappen on pole, and for my top three for this weekend's race, in P3 I am going with Oscar Piastri. I'm just going because he's like, I would say Lando is the faster McLaren driver. So that's why I'm going with Oscar in P3. And also, the McLarens are actually very good on this circuit. I think last year was when I remember this was the first real stage after Austria where the McLaren showed promising pace and they finished P2. Yeah, Lando finished P2 last year at Silverstone. I think it will have been P2, P3, although the safety car screwed Oscar Piastri in that race and Hamilton was able to get him. And so on the podium was Hamilton, Lando, and Max. But for this year, I'm going Oscar Piastri P3. In P2, I have gone with Lando Norris. Now, I don't know if we're going to have another battle for the lead like we had last week and all the shenanigans between him and Verstappen, but honestly, I look forward to it. I love hard racing. And for anyone that's coming, that has watched my video, if you haven't watched, go back and watch it before you come watch this. I mean, if you're here at this point, just wait, finish this one, and go back to that one and watch my review. I feel like the battle between Max and Lando has just started. And I think after watching all the races, the clip of the crash and everything, the review of everything, I feel like Lando has a lot to learn when it comes to racing in front. Because this is not the first time like this is happening to him. And so far, I think he's frustrated with the fact that he has been unable to beat Max, even that he's in a faster car. Because let's be honest with ourselves, the win in Miami only happened because Max had floor damage, and Lando, because of the safety car, Lando came out with, at a time where Max was already 8 laps on the hards. Lando came on new hards until the end of the race, nothing else happened. So that you could say was an easy win for Lando. But then all other times that, yeah, you could say Max dragged the Red Bull to the win. But that's why Max is a world champion. He is that good. So that dynamic between Lando and Max currently emerging is they're still gonna navigate it, but like when it comes to something that Lando should try and understand about Max is that this guy is always going to be aggressive, and you also just have to be sharp and down because Hamilton had to be bring out his Hamilton had to bring out his A game because he knew if he made a mistake around Verstappen, it was gonna lead to maybe his race ending or something like that. And this is just a trait of the greats. I think even Schumacher was like this. Ayrton Senna, they were all like this. It's like it's either me or we both lose, But I know some people are against it, but like, listen, it's hard racing. As long as it's done within the rules of the FIA, within the guidelines. I mean, anything that goes outside the guidelines, the FIA is going to punish you anyway. So, yeah, there's that. P1, Max Verstappen. I'm picking Max Verstappen because I just want him to rub it in the face of the British crowd. And this is why, because we've been seeing what Sky Sports have been doing. I think Sky Sports are currently on a hate campaign on Max Verstappen. They did it in 2021, but you could say, oh yeah, in a way, maybe Max was overdoing it that time. But at this point, since 2021, I think the only clash Max Verstappen has had on track, I think, was with Lewis Hamilton in Brazil 2022. That was the only time. I mean, there was something with George, but George squeezed him during the, I think, sprint race at the Hungaroring last year. Yeah, so I think he just squeezed him, and I think there was a side pod damage where Max could not overtake, I think, for majority of the sprint race and all of that. But since that time, I don't think anything has happened with Max. Max has just been perfect in a way, And even when his car was not the fastest, like a few races we've seen now, he has always put that car in front. Now, this weekend is gonna be so tricky for him because what happened last weekend, especially with the British driver. If you see what Sky Sports were doing on there, it's like, especially, what's his name again? Ted Kravitz. Ted Kravitz just went around trying to find someone to say something bad about Max. I think Toto didn't fall for it, but you could say also Toto is trying to get Max Verstappen to drive for Mercedes, so I don't think he'll be involved in anything that might, let's say, jeopardize that. So even if he had criticisms for Max, he's not gonna say it. He's not like, he's just gonna hold his cards tightly and like, let me watch. I think Toto said, let me watch it and I'll get back to you on that next week. But in general, I think most of the Sky Sports crew have been diabolical with their opinions. Honestly, it's a racing incident. It happens because if you go back watching years, like you see different clips of different years where Seb did the same thing to Hamilton in the same corner. Sainz did that to Verstappen last year in the same corner, and there was no contact. So maybe we have to start asking Lando. Maybe you could have done better. Because there was actually space. It's not like he ran you like if if you remember the beginning of the Spanish Grand Prix, at the start of the race, before Russell took over, moved from P4 to P1, Lando squeezed Max. Max was on the grass. Max. What happened between Max and Lando in Austria wasn't even that close. There was still so much space. Not like he was pushing him, but I think it was just unfortunate contact. As I said, for me, it was a racing incident. And my crazy prediction for this week is that you would hear the loudest boos in Formula One history this weekend. And it's all going to be for Maximilian Verstappen. That crowd is going to boo the life out of him. And you know the best thing? He's going to win. That's my crazy prediction. Like, how can all these things come together and be in the favor of Max, right? But that's just my predictions for this week. And I can't wait to see what the weekend brings because I know it's going to be feisty because the McLarens are going to come out, especially Lando. Lando is going to come out punching. I know Oscar's not going to Oscar's chill. I mean, we've never seen any side of Oscar that, that's maybe has caused any trouble or anything. He's always calm and chill and stuff like that. I think the only contact he's had, I think, was last year in Spa with Carlos Sainz on the first lap, and he ended both of their races. But yeah, that's my predictions for this week. Let me know what your predictions are. Put them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you've not watched my review for the Austrian Grand Prix, kindly check that in the comment section. Not in the comment section, in the description. I'll put that in the description. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Cheers. Peace.